Welcome to British Pub Trivia. Think you know the UK like a true Brit? Grab a pint, sit back, and test your knowledge with 20 fun multiple-choice questions. If you've ever found yourself wandering through the charming, sometimes bewildering landscape of Great Britain, you've probably stumbled into a public house. Or, as everyone here calls it, a pub. These places are truly something else. They are not just establishments for a swift pint of ale. Oh no. They are community hubs, cozy corners on rainy afternoons, and, quite importantly, the battlegrounds for a peculiar British obsession, the pub quiz. It's a tradition as ingrained as queuing politely or discussing the ever-unpredictable weather with a surprising amount of passion and detail. The pub quiz, you see, is a serious business, yet wonderfully unserious all at the same time. It's a fantastic way to spend an evening, exercising those little gray cells while enjoying the unique atmosphere that only a British pub can offer. It's a social ritual, a weekly pilgrimage for many. You'll get questions on pop music, ancient history, bizarre local facts, and things you vaguely remember from school. The beauty is in the variety, and in the shared groans when a particularly tricky question stumps the entire room. Or the collective cheer when a well-loved local team finally gets one right after a string of near misses. It's about camaraderie, the gentle clinking of glasses, and the pursuit of bragging rights. And so, the pub quiz thrives. From the smallest village local to the grandest city tavern, you'll find them. It's a chance to learn something new, to laugh with friends, and to feel wonderfully, uniquely British, even if you're just visiting. It's a cultural cornerstone, really, as vital as a Sunday roast or complaining about the trains, but infinitely more fun than the latter, I assure you. Alright, let's dip our toes into the quiz water, shall we? We'll start with something suitably grand, something that screams Britain louder than a beefeater shouting at a very slow tourist. Here's your first question, a real head-scratcher for those not entirely up to speed on their regal residences. Question 1. Which famous London palace is the official residence of the monarch, where the changing of the guard ceremony regularly takes place? Now, think carefully. It's a rather large place, quite difficult to miss if you happen to be wandering around central London, possibly looking for a decent cup of tea. The answer, my friends, is Buckingham Palace. A truly impressive pile of bricks, it must be said. It stands there all grand and imposing right in the heart of London. It started life as Buckingham House, a rather large townhouse built for the Duke of Buckingham in 1703. King George III bought it in 1761 as a private residence for Queen Charlotte, and it became known as the Queen's House. It only officially became the principal royal residence with the accession of Queen Victoria in 1837. Quite a journey for a building, wouldn't you say? The changing of the guard ceremony is a spectacle in itself. Tourists flock in their thousands to see these soldiers, in their bright red tunics and tall, furry hats called bearskins, marching with incredible precision. It's all very formal, very serious, and very, very British. It's a tradition that has been going on for centuries, a constant in an ever-changing world. You can almost hear the history echoing with every stamp of a highly polished boot on the gravel. So, Buckingham Palace it is. It has 775 rooms, if you can believe it. That includes 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms. One wonders if anyone ever gets lost looking for the loo. It's more than just a home. It's a symbol, a working administrative headquarters for the monarchy, and a major tourist attraction. A truly fascinating place and a great start to our little quiz journey. Now, let's move on to another cornerstone of British life. Something that fuels the nation, solves all problems, and is generally considered the answer to most of life's little difficulties. I am, of course, talking about tea. The British and their tea, it's a love affair for the ages. So, here's a question that should warm the cockles of your heart, or at least make you fancy a cuppa. Question 2. What is the name of the light meal, traditionally eaten between 3:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. that typically includes sandwiches, scones with clotted cream and jam, and cakes? The answer, as many of you might have guessed, is afternoon tea. It's not just a quick cup of tea and a biscuit, oh no. Afternoon tea is an event, a delightful ritual. It's said to have been introduced in England by Anna, the 7th Duchess of Bedford, in the year 1840. The Duchess would become hungry around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The evening meal in her household was served fashionably late at 8 o'clock, leaving a long period of time between lunch and dinner. She started asking for a tray of tea, bread and butter, and cake to be brought to her room during the late afternoon. This became a habit of hers and she began inviting friends to join her. This pause for tea became a fashionable social event. During the 1880s, society women would change into long gowns, gloves and hats for their afternoon tea, which was usually served in the drawing room between 4 and 5 o'clock. Think of it, delicate finger sandwiches, crusts off, naturally, freshly baked scones served with clotted cream and strawberry jam, the order of which is a hotly debated topic, I tell you, and a dazzling array of tiny, exquisite cakes and pastries. It's all terribly civilized. And the tea itself, not just any old tea bag dunked hastily in a mug. We're talking proper loose-leaf tea, perhaps Earl Grey, Assam or Darjeeling, served in a fine china teapot with matching cups and saucers. It's a moment to relax, to chat, to indulge, while the grand, formal afternoon tea is perhaps more of a special occasion treat these days. The simple act of stopping for a cup of tea and a little something to eat in the afternoon is still a cherished part of British culture. It truly is a delightful tradition, and a rather tasty one at that. Right then, let's delve deep, quite literally, into the heart of London for our next question. This sprawling network is a marvel of engineering, a daily necessity for millions, and occasionally a source of mild bewilderment for the uninitiated. I'm talking about London's famous underground railway system. It's a world of its own down there. So, put on your thinking caps or perhaps your hard hats. Question 3. What is the popular nickname for the London Underground Railway system inspired by the shape of its tunnels? It's a name known worldwide, instantly recognizable. The answer, of course, is the Tube. A wonderfully simple and descriptive nickname, don't you think? It refers to the circular tunnels that were bored deep underground for many of the lines. The first sections of what would become the Underground were opened way back in 1863, making it the world's oldest underground railway. Imagine that. They were digging these tunnels by hand, in many cases through the London clay. An astonishing feat of Victorian engineering, and one that utterly transformed the city, allowing it to grow and sprawl in ways previously unimaginable. Navigating the Tube can be an adventure. You have the brightly colored map, a design classic in itself with its interwoven lines, the red Central Line, the blue Piccadilly Line, the yellow Circle Line, and so on. Then there are the famous announcements, "Mind the gap," a phrase that has become almost a mantra for Londoners and a quirky souvenir for tourists, and the sheer number of people. During rush hour, it's a veritable sea of humanity, all purposefully striding, reading their papers or staring intently at their phones, a silent agreement of shared, slightly cramped travel. The Tube has over 270 stations and around 250 miles, that's 400 kilometers, of track. It's not all underground despite the name. About 55% of the network is actually above ground. Some of those tunnels go incredibly deep. Hampstead Station, for instance, on the Northern Line is the deepest at a staggering 58.5 meters. That's 192 feet below ground level. That's quite a descent. It's more than just a transport system. It's an icon of London, a vital artery, and a source of endless fascination. Just remember to stand on the right when you're on the escalators. It's one of those unwritten rules. Section 5. A novel notion, questions for bookworms. Let's turn a page, shall we, and venture into the realm of words and stories. Britain has produced a rather staggering number of brilliant writers, poets, and playwrights over the centuries. Their works have shaped language, entertained millions, and given us characters that feel as real as our own neighbors, sometimes more so. So for all you book lovers out there, here's a question that should be right up your literary street. Question 4. Which iconic English playwright born in Stratford-upon-Avon is famous for works such as Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and A Midsummer Night's Dream? The answer, as I'm sure many of you knew instantly, is the one and only William Shakespeare. The Bard of Avon, as he's often called. It's quite something, isn't it, how one man, born in a relatively small market town in the 16th century, could go on to become arguably the greatest writer in the English language, his words still echoing around theaters and classrooms more than 400 years later. His plays are performed constantly all over the globe, translated into countless languages. He gave us so many phrases we still use today, often without even realizing it. Stratford-upon-Avon, his birthplace, is a charming town and a place of pilgrimage for Shakespeare enthusiasts. You can visit the house where he was born, the school he likely attended, and Holy Trinity Church where he's buried. It's all very well preserved, and you get a real sense of the world he inhabited. He moved to London, of course, to make his name in the bustling theatre scene of the Elizabethan era, writing for the Globe Theatre, a reconstruction of which now stands proudly on the south bank of the Thames. It's quite an experience to see a play there. Shakespeare wrote comedies, tragedies, histories, and sonnets. He explored the full range of human emotion: love, jealousy, ambition, grief, joy. Characters like Hamlet, Lady Macbeth, Romeo, Juliet, Falstaff, they are timeless, complex, and utterly compelling. His understanding of human nature was profound. And the language is just magnificent. Even if you find it a bit tricky at first, there's a rhythm and a power to it that's undeniable. So yes, William Shakespeare, a true giant of literature and a very good answer to our quiz question. Section 6. Sporting chances, a bit of a cricket conundrum. Right, let's jog over to the world of sport. The British are rather fond of their sports, you know. Football, or soccer as some call it, is a national obsession, of course, but there are other games equally cherished, though perhaps a little more baffling to the outside world. One such game involves wickets, bails, overs, and a very peculiar flat bat. It can last for 5 days and still end in a draw. Any ideas? Question 5. In which quintessentially British sport might a bowler deliver a googly or a yorker, and a batsman aim to score a century? The answer, my sporting friends, is cricket. Ah, cricket. A game that can seem utterly impenetrable to the uninitiated, with its own unique vocabulary and leisurely pace. But to those who understand it, it's a game of immense skill, strategy, and subtle drama. A googly, for instance, is a type of deceptive delivery bowled by a leg spin bowler, designed to trick the batsman. A yorker is a ball bowled so it pitches right at the batsman's feet. And a century is when a single batsman scores 100 runs or more, a magnificent achievement. The game is played between two teams of 11 players. One team bats, trying to score runs, while the other team fields and bowls, trying to get the batsman out. It's played on a circular or oval field, with a rectangular 22-yard-long pitch in the center. The sound of leather on willow, that's the ball hitting the bat, is one of the classic sounds of an English summer. Matches can range from fast-paced 2020 games lasting a few hours to test matches which, as I mentioned, can span 5 whole days. It requires patience, this game, both to play and to watch. Cricket is particularly popular in England, Australia, India, Pakistan, the West Indies, and South Africa. It has a rich history dating back to the 16th century. You'll find it played on pristine village greens with a picturesque pub often overlooking the boundary, and in massive international stadiums packed with roaring crowds. It's a game of nuances, of traditions, like stopping for tea between sessions, and of great sporting heroes. So if you ever get the chance, do try and watch a game. You might just find yourself captivated by its peculiar charms. Section 7. What's in a name? Curious corners of the country. Let's take a little detour now. A jaunt across the map of Great Britain. This island is peppered with place names that are, shall we say, wonderfully eccentric. Some are delightfully descriptive, others are just plain baffling, and many are a nightmare to pronounce if you're not a local. It's all part of the charm, of course. So, for this question, we're testing your knowledge of these linguistic quirks. Question 6. There's a famous English county known for a rather tasty tangy sauce. Its name can be a bit of a tongue twister. Can you name this county? The answer, and try saying this one after a couple of pints, is Worcestershire. Pronounced roughly Worcestershire. Not Worcestershire, as many an unsuspecting visitor has attempted. Oh, the English language and its delightful disregard for spelling things phonetically. Worcestershire is a beautiful county in the West Midlands of England, known for the Malvern Hills, the River Severn, and of course that famous dark savory sauce that adds a bit of a kick to cheese on toast or a Bloody Mary. A truly versatile condiment. The sauce itself, Worcestershire sauce, has a fascinating history. It was first made in the city of Worcester in the early 19th century by two chemists, John Wheely Lee and William Henry Perrins. The story goes that a local nobleman, Lord Sandys, returned from Bengal and asked them to recreate a recipe he'd enjoyed there. Their initial attempt was apparently so strong it was considered inedible, so they left it in barrels in their cellar and forgot about it. Sometime later they rediscovered it, found it had mellowed and developed a wonderful flavor, and Leah and Perrin's Worcestershire sauce was born. This phenomenon of tricky place names isn't unique to Worcestershire, of course. Oh no, Britain is full of them. Think of Mousehole in Cornwall, pronounced Mousel, or Happysburg in Norfolk, pronounced Haysborough, or Frome in Somerset, rhymes with broom. It's like a secret code that only the locals truly understand. It just adds to the character of the place, I suppose. It keeps you on your toes as a traveler and provides endless amusement when you hear someone bravely, but entirely incorrectly, try to ask for directions to one of these curiously named locations. Section 8. Pop Goes the Question Musical Mysteries. Alright, time to tune into another great British export, its music. From the swinging 60s to Britpop and beyond, this small island has produced an astonishing amount of influential and iconic music that has conquered the world. Bands and artists who have provided the soundtrack to countless lives. So, let's see if you're in harmony with this next question. Question 7. Which legendary British rock band, formed in Liverpool in 1960, took the world by storm with hits like Hey Jude, Let It Be, and Yesterday? This one should be a chart topper for many of you. The answer, of course, is the Beatles. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. 4 lads from Liverpool who changed music forever. It's hard to overstate their impact, really. Beatlemania was a genuine global phenomenon. Their music, their style, their attitude, it all captured the imagination of a generation and continues to inspire musicians and fans today. From their early rock and roll days at the Cavern Club in Liverpool to their more experimental and groundbreaking later albums, they were constantly evolving, always surprising. Their songs are just timeless, aren't they? Yesterday is one of the most covered songs in history. Hey Jude is an anthem that everyone can sing along to. Strawberry Fields Forever and A Day in the Life showed their incredible creativity and willingness to push musical boundaries. They weren't just a band, they were a cultural force. They influenced fashion, art, and even ways of thinking. And it all started in the vibrant port city of Liverpool, a place that still proudly celebrates its most famous sons. You can visit Penny Lane and Strawberry Field, see their childhood homes, and soak up the atmosphere at the rebuilt Cavern Club. The story of the Beatles is a remarkable one, from humble beginnings to unimaginable global fame. Their music crossed generations and borders, and it still sounds as fresh and exciting today as it did all those decades ago. They left an incredible legacy, a back catalog of songs that will undoubtedly be listened to and loved for many, many years to come. A truly monumental band. Section 9, your round next, embracing the quiz crack. Well, there we have it. A little taster of the fun and games you might encounter at a Great British Pub Quiz. We've journeyed through royal residences, delved into tea traditions, navigated the tube, celebrated literary giants, puzzled over cricket, wrestled with place names, and rocked out with musical legends. It's quite a mix, isn't it? And that's precisely the point. A good pub quiz has something for everyone. A delightful jumble of general knowledge, obscure facts, and those, "Oh, I know this one," moments that bring such satisfaction. The real joy of the pub quiz, though, isn't just about getting the answers right. It's about the crack, as they say in Ireland. The fun, the entertainment, the lively conversation, the shared experience. It's the friendly banter with the quizmaster, the collective groan when a tricky picture round is revealed, the triumphant cheer when your team snatches victory, or even the good-natured commiserations if you end up with the wooden spoon. It's a brilliant way to spend an evening with friends or even to make new ones. It's a chance to switch off from the everyday and just enjoy a bit of light-hearted competition. So, if you ever find yourself in Britain, or even if your local pub elsewhere has adopted this fine tradition, I heartily encourage you to give it a go. Don't worry about not knowing all the answers. Nobody ever does. That's part of the charm. Just gather a few mates, come up with a witty team name, that's half the fun, grab a drink, and join in. You might surprise yourself with what you know, and you're almost guaranteed to learn something new, or at least have a good laugh trying. Pub quizzes are a wonderful slice of British culture, a testament to the love of community, a bit of brain teasing, and of course the enduring appeal of the local pub. They are a reminder that learning can be fun, and that the best kind of knowledge is often the wonderfully trivial kind. So go on, dive in. The questions are waiting, the atmosphere is welcoming, and who knows, you might just become the next local quiz champion. Cheers to that. How did you do? Comment your score below and tag a mate to challenge them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more trivia from around the world. Cheers.